Hello to all of you. Hello from my home sewing workshop with you, Nadezhda. Today, I want to show you how I will cut a nightgown on the bias. I've already sewn one shirt using bias thread, and now I want to sew a second shirt with you. And I want to sew it with another fabric. So I laid out the pattern on the fabric. Since I had already sewn one such shirt, I had this pattern ready. I pinned the pattern onto the fabric. I will make a shirt from ordinary bed fabric. The nightgown will have a yoke. I folded my fabric at an angle of 45 degrees. An oblique thread formed on the fold, and I laid this fold on the edge of the tab. And I mark the seam allowances because the pattern has no allowances. I need to add seam allowances on all seams, an allowance of 1 cm on the sleeve edge of 0.7 cm and an allowance of 0.7 cm on the neck edge. Be sure to mark the waistline. I make the markings with a pen that disappears with steam. Along the side seam of the nightgown we make a straight line, bringing it under the ruler. I draw the armhole line. I do the same thing on the shelf. I draw out the allowances. I draw out the lines. I connect everything into beautiful line. And along the outlined lines I begin to cut out the details. I want to remind you that we cut using a bias thread. The fabric is folded at an angle of 45 degrees and the formed bias thread D on the fold is laid to the edge of the table, and we continue to cut out our nightgown. We make notches on the waistline in order to accurately connect the front and back at these points. Cut out the shelf in the same way along the marked lines. And also put a notch along the waistline. Make a notch in the center of the front. And make a notch in the center of the back. The back and front parts are ready and we put them aside. I laid out the details of the yokes on the fabric. The yokes will be cut along the grain thread. This is our front yoke, and this is our back yoke. The center of the back is placed on the fold of the fabric. I added seam allowances and started cutting out the details. 7 mm allowance at the neckline, 1 cm allowance at the shoulder seam, 7 mm allowance at the armhole and 1 cm allowance at the side seam. is me cutting out the detail of the back yoke. I cut along the marked lines and make sure to place the cut in the center of the back yoke and in the center of the fro. NT yoke. And this is me cutting out the front yoke. We will have sleeveless nightgown. It's summer, so it won't be hot. We won't sew on sleeves. We put small cuts on the centers of approximately 1 millimeter. We cut out the yokes. So I folded the fabric along the bias thread, and I need to cut out a strip 3 meters long and 15 centimeters wide to assemble it an SEW this ruffle to the bottom of the nightgown. I make markings and make seam allowances, and I end up with a strip that is not 15 but 16 centimeters wide, and in the finished the ruffle will be 15 centimeters wide. I choose the fabric so that the print fits only with roses. Scania has a checkered print, but I choose a print with only roses. Got 2 strips 16 centimeters wide. I begin to collect and baste the details of the nightgown, pin and begin to baste the yoke with the main part of the front. We will make the seams outward so that the seams do not press on us on the wrong side, do not irritate us, do not interfere with us in any way, so that the product is smooth. First I pin the parts together with needles and then I baste the thread. Take basting thread in a contrasting color so that it can be easily found and removed later. Stepping back 1 centimeter from the edge and laying a running stitch. To beautifully sweep this corner of the yoke, you need to make a cut here. We make the cut without reaching the seam. Here we stick a needle, unfold it, straighten these cuts and go the other way. Continue to sweep in the other direction. The piece is cut out until we stretch the soybean threads, even sit it down slightly and carefully baste it onto the yoke. The detail of the yoke and the front matched well. This is the connection we got for the front part of the nightgown, and in the same way we sweep the back yoke together with the back part itself. I stitch the yoke part and the front part on a sewing machine and cut the allowances to 2 millimeters. As you remember, our seam is made outward. From the inside you get such a smooth connection of parts. In order to decorate our nightgown, we will take lace and place it over this seam, positioning it so that the lace completely covers this seam. I will fold the top edge and attach it with a very frequent zigzag, then I will turn the lace edge back and cut out the allowances that have folded inward. And after I have cut out this unnecessary allowance fabric, I will iron the lace well and sew the bottom edge of the stun lace with a frequent zigzag. I will pull out the excess fabric from the inside, and we will have transparent lace at the junction of the yoke and the main part of the front. This is the result I got by placing lace on the drain seam. I stitched the lace in a frequent zigzag, going around all the scallops in a zigzag, and cut out the unnecessary fabric. At the back of the product, and we got such a nice neat result with transparent lace. And also along the bottom of the product I stitched a ready-made ruffle and decorated it in the same way with transparent lac. I'm not supposed to have lace on the back of the nightie. I just connected the pieces behind the sewing seam. A very thin, delicate seam turned out. I also added a ruffle to the back of the nightgown. Now I'll sew a nightgown with the seam facing out and show you a little technology. 1 centimeter away from the cut. We stitched together the side seam, the details matched, the ruffles all matched, both the front and back panels. And now we will trim the allowance that we have on the back panel to 2 millimeters. Now, in order for us to cover the allowance that remains 2 millimeters, cover it with a second allowance, we need to bend this second allowance by 0.5 millimeters and baste it. After we fold and stitch this edge, it will be easy for us to sew it on a machine, closing the 0.2 centimeters allowance with is second allowance that we folded. Like this, we cover one on top of the other and sew it on the machine. Stitch close to the edge. This is the finished nightgown we got. We finished the neckline and the armholes with bias tape and it turned out very nice and good. I sewed 2 nightgowns using the same pattern. Here is such a cute ruffle trim on one of the shirts. And I want to show you that it looks very nice when the nightgown is made from the same fabric as the bed linen. Such a set is even nice to give as a gift to someone. This is how it all looks, and with this I will end my video. See you again, bye bye.